Good day. Today we are going to smoke grill a salmon fillet using the Brinkmann smoker. For this one, I'm going to use the 12-inch smoker. There's what they look like. Black and catfish got nice crust. And so initially I wanted to build a fire and then plank cook the salmon. That's a lot of fun and really pretty tasty, but it is super windy today, and I just didn't think building an open fire was a good idea. So I'm going to give it a try on the Brinkmann. That should come out okay. It'll take a little bit longer, but not a big deal. To go with the salmon, I'm going to do an Asian-inspired foil packet of green beans. And what I plan to do is just use the heat source, but put another grill inside the Brinkmann closer to the heat, so it's a little bit warmer, and cook it that way. And then as a side, I've got some Tex-Mati rice. It's a nice blend of wild rice, brown rice, red rice, and a couple other ones. Anyhow, I've got to use that up, so I'm going to serve that up with it. And probably a small salad, and that'll be it. I've got a couple experiments that I'm doing with the Brinkmann. A lot of people complain about the fire pan, and this is like the third one I've had between two Brinkmanns now for fire pans, so they do burn out after a while. And initially it had nothing. It was just a solid pan, so I did drill a vent hole in the bottom. Most of the time that works, but you still got to stick a stick in there and rake it out every so often. So I'm going to try something new. I filmed it with my phone earlier, so I'm going to insert that into here. It'll probably, I expect it to work pretty good, and if it does, well, that'll be a new addition to my Brinkmann, as long as I got plenty of room to transport it, because it's going to make it heavy. But we'll start not a lot of prep work, but I just want to marinate the salmon for a little bit, so we'll get started doing that here in just a second. Okay, so I've got a rotor off of a co-worker's Armada. I was really hoping that it was going to fit. Oops. Down here on these tabs where the charcoal pan used to sit, but it does not. So for today, I'm going to let it sit there, and I've got an old hub off of my old Jeep, Brutus. Y'all might remember it. But I'm just going to set it there on the bottom, using the Armada rotor to raise it up a little bit. And that will become my charcoal pan. Being all cast iron, it's not going to go anywhere. And it's got better ventilation in it than the original charcoal pan did. So for today, that's how I'm going to do this. And getting the rotor to fit on them tabs shouldn't be a big deal. I'll come up with something a little bit later. Alright, so here's what I've got. I've got a 1¼ pound-ish salmon fillet. It's been unthawing most of the afternoon. I'm going to take them outside, drain the liquid off, and then we're going to marinate it quite simply with some Dijon mustard. And the other day I was talking about some seasoning blends that my sister had got me one year for the holidays. I've not tried the fish one at all. I've used up the meat one, and we were using the poultry one in that other video. But I've got this fish one that I have never used, so I'm going to season it quite well with that across the whole fillet, and then we're going to smoke it for about an hour, give or take. We're looking for about 140 degrees internal temperature, so it should take about an hour. And I'm going to use for coals a very small bed of briquette coals, some wump coal, and some cherry wood for the smoke. Alright, so we've got him drained here. Or at least as best as you can. Wish I would have brought some paper towels down here. I think it'll be alright otherwise. We'll just look at that little dude right there. And I'm going to give him a good coating of Dijon mustard here. That's gonna help give the seasoning something to stick to, and you really won't notice the mustard by the time it gets done. Which I'm kind of glad for, because my wife is not a mustard licensed person. We're just not going to tell her what we did. Ooh, it's got a bunch of coriander seeds in it. And then we'll put our seasoning on here really good. It's got a good smell to it. That looks pretty even, doesn't it? I think it looks pretty good. And then hopefully not going to make too bad of a mistake. Here we go. Good enough. It's just going back in the cooler anyhow. And we're going to just kind of let that sit there an hour or so, and in the cooler. pretty glad that I did not build a fire. Here's what I got here. I've got kind of doing this slightly different than I should be. I really should be mixing the marinade in a bowl, but just kind of winging this here, I think, for that purpose. I got my green beans, got them all trimmed. I might need to do that doubly, but I've got a little bit of a red onion here. It should be fresh garlic, but like I said, I'm kind of winging that part. Trying to speed things up for myself a little bit here. We'll kind of mix that in there like that. Yeah, what the hell? Well, all right. And let's see, I'm on a hill again, so let's bend this a little bit so it don't go all over the place. Yeah, okay. And need some soy sauce. I do not. Get some soy sauce we're putting on there. That looked like 2 tablespoons. Yeah. Okay. That's what it was supposed to be, and I've got supposed to be sake, and I don't have any of that, so I've got some rice wine vinegar with roasted garlic. So we're gonna some of that. And some olive oil also. And some salt. That's probably enough for me. Nice little pouch out of this. Go this way. That. And then this. Okay, and tell you what I'm going to do though, I just don't trust that side seal. So we will do that. It's not going to take a lot of time to cook, so I'm not too worried about that. I just hope it fits through the trap door on the side of R2. You will hear me talk about the smoker as R2. I've been calling it that for years, and to look at it, it looks like R2D2 to me, so that's just the nickname I've given it. So we've got that set aside, ready when I'm going to put it on probably when the fish has 15-20 minutes left to it. And then the only thing else I've got left to do is make room for the stove so I can cook the rice and check the temperature on R2. Alright, so I am going to, shouldn't have to worry about it too much. It's not the hottest of fires, but I'll put a little bit of olive oil on my fish basket. Just to help keep the skin from sticking. Alright, good enough. We'll get our fish out. Hopefully he fits in. Oh yeah, he's going to be just perfect. Alright, now we'll put him over there and get him cooking. Yeah, perfect. And, pardon me. A couple cherry chunks. It's probably going to climb up in temperature as the cherry catches, but $2.25 for about an hour. Okay, so while the fish is doing its thing, Alright, so while the fish is doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and start the rice. I'm not going to bore you with watching rice cook, but here's what I got for today. I got to use some of this up. So I got a wild blend from Lundberg, and it's a gourmet blend. It is, I lost track of it. Anyhow, I mentioned it earlier. I know it's brown rice, it's wild rice, it's red rice, and a couple of other rices. It's a nice little blend. So we're going to go ahead and get it started. I still have not brought out my other stove yet. This is still the 1970s stove that I refurbished over the winter. And I don't know how many more cooks I'm going to do out of this tent this year. We're starting to get into the rainier season. And I've got a week-long trip that I'm going to go away for at the end of the month. So I'm thinking about probably next weekend breaking out R2 again and smoking a Boston butt. Do an all-day cook on that for a pulled pork barbecue, and then at the same time while it's cooking and I'm tending to it, then I will tear the tent down, let the ground recover for the rest of the summer season, and bring the tent back out in the fall or something. It's not going to stop me from cooking back here. I'll still do that. I'll probably just bring out my canopy and stuff and do things that way. But I really am enjoying my tent. I just don't want to ruin it. I don't know how well the summer season of what the UV will do to it, so I want to be mindful of that. I definitely don't want it to get mildewy. So that's that. And I'll wait till that gets a little warmer. So anyhow, fish is smoking well. We're going to let that heat up a little bit, put the rice in there, then let it simmer for about 45 minutes. It should be done the same time the fish is done. And I guess I just got to make a little salad. Or wait for my wife to come home to tell me if she wants a little salad or not. Alright, so the rice is simmering away. Fish has been on for, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and slide the green beans in here, hopefully. Hopefully. Yeah, I'm going. And pretty old wood, so it's going to just burn up fast. Maybe one more batch. One more little batch of smoke. Coming together pretty good. Wife should be home in another 10 minutes or so, so we'll find out about the salad. Apologize about the mowers, it's just nature of the beast. Hopefully I didn't lose any good footage, because I want to get a little bit of footage for cooking the rice, and the GoPro had a fatal SD card error, so hopefully we didn't lose anything. Right about there, I think. Oh yeah, he's done. Okay, so salmon is done. what I'm going to do, I want to keep them warm for a few more minutes because they're holding on the rice. I got out a salad detail too, by the way, so at least now with my little makeshift rigmarole there, I can move it away from the firebox, but whew, there it goes. You see what I did for right now. I've got the Nissan Armada front brake discs holding up the old drum from my old Jeep. Kind of miss that old Jeep, but it's going to make a pretty good little firebox. Much better, I think, than the other one that came with it. And I'll just makeshift some way where that can sit on the supports there. But in the meantime, that's going to work just fine. And as soon as the rice is done, I'll get everything plated up. My wife has made an executive decision that the wind's coming out of the north and it's got a pretty good chill to it. So although it's in the 50s now, she's a little cool. So she doesn't particularly want to eat out here. So we'll get everything plated up. I'll bring in her plate and then I will come back. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this without staying in the camera. That's going to be difficult because this camera is not the best for inside the tent. So I'm going to give her this piece right here. Which stuck a wee little bit, nothing really bad. Okay. There it goes. Get that skin to break up. I'm going to give her that piece. Give her a little bit of rice. I'll be right back. I gotta go get the green beans. And I had some tongs. Where'd you go? There's some tongs. And some green beans. There. I don't know how well you can see that. If it's coming out at all, it's not looking good in the viewfinder, but anyhow, that's her plate, and I will be right back. Ooh, almost lost my fork. Let's see how this comes out for you. There. How's that? Salmon, green beans, rice. There we go. Rice is good and firm. Tender, but still firm. Oh, them green beans are good. Even picked up a little hint of smoke. I don't really know how. It's all wrapped up in the foil, but that's pretty good. rice wine vinegar gives it a little extra twang. Oh, that was good. That is real good. Yeah. Still moist, tender. Cools off fast though. Little R2 did good. That spice blend, that's pretty good. I'm gonna have to see what's in that so I can kind of recreate it. Shh, don't tell her about the mustard. That is real good. Well, thank you for hanging out with me and cooking up this nice meal, and we'll see you next time.